So I think we're online. Good afternoon, everyone. Let's just wait another minute to see if there are more participants still incoming, which I see that there are. So we'll be ready to start at 4 o'clock sharp. Perfect. So let's kick it off. Once again, good afternoon, everyone. Before we go on our tour through Building Radar, there are two things that I would like to put up front. A is a little introduction about myself. My name being Laurenz Kalthoff. I've been a member of the Building Radar team since its inception in 2015, and therefore have seen quite a lot of iterations that our UI has gone through. And secondly, is what I already mentioned just now, that this is the latest iteration of the Building Radar user interface. So we have had a team of digital all the superfluous fat, make sure that everything is where it should be, so that in the end you have an as smooth as possible workflow on the platform itself now. What you are currently looking at is this, what we call inbox. This is the first view that you'll have every time you log into Building Radar. In this inbox, there are one or more search profiles that have been predefined based on your criteria that you'd like to get in terms of interesting leads or interesting construction projects. These will be defined just before you start your usage with us, together with your account executive and customer success manager, so as to make sure, and this is where our approach comes in, you don't have to actively search for the leads that are interesting for you, and thereby spend a lot of time browsing through long lists of potentially uninteresting projects. But instead, through predefining your criteria, what you'll be getting is a selected list of leads that Building Radar identifies as relevant for you. This lead or this list of criteria will be defined over your usage with the platform and will become better over time. Of course, this depends on your collaboration and your use of the platform, but generally this is how you'll be receiving information. Now that that's covered, let's take a deeper look at what your day-to-day usage with Building Radar looks like. On the left-hand side, you have the navigation bar that previously was just a big block of text taking up a lot of space, which now folds into the sides and only opens once you hover over it with your mouse. When opening the individual folders, you'll see your search profiles in here. For demonstration's sake, this is kept very simple. So we have offices and science and education, I think in both the US and the UK. And this structure will be carried over to all other folders that follow. So interesting, snoozed, archived, exported, discarded, etc. This is done so that whenever you use the platform, you have a very clear path to follow. And this is also how this has been designed from a workflow perspective. Looking at the results that you're getting within Building Radar, what we expect you to do, and not just to keep your inbox clean, but to teach the platform what's really the most relevant part of it for you, you'll have the option to mark all of the leads that you're getting as either one of the options that we've just seen in terms of the folders, and that have these corresponding buttons at the bottom of every lead available to you. Let's take a deeper look to see what this looks like in action. So I'm a user, I log into my Building Radar account. For now, I'd like to check out offices over the science and education projects. And what I find first is this split view of the leads in my active view right here. So on the left-hand side, you have a list of all the results ordered chronologically as they have been found for your profile. And on the right-hand side, you have these previews of the leads that, of course, update whenever you change to another project in the list view to get a deeper understanding of what's going on. So for example, in this case, we have this project in Orlando where the developer wants to swap out office space for a hotel. You'll get some more information. So apparently, judging by the extracted categories for this building, there are also some residential and commercial spaces in there, right next to what has already been mentioned in the title of hospitality, i.e. the hotel and the office space. Currently, this is still a project in the planning phase, so due to start sometime soon, I suppose. Construction dates will be provided as soon as we have them, as we have it here, for example, the one right next. And you have the space that will be redesigned. You have the location, of course, where this project is taking place, in this case, Orlando, Florida. And most importantly, you'll find the stakeholders that are involved with this project. So in this case, we have this Architectural Bureau of IDEA, of which, of course, you'll find the contact details once you click on the section, as well as L2 Studios and Deerfield Management as further contacts to be relevant for this particular project. Information, of course, varies from project to project, but in most cases, you might want to go and check out the original source of the article too. And depending on how this has been formatted, you either find this button here at the top, go to article, which will forward you to the original source. Oh, of course, since I'm accessing from the EU, I'm blocked for US sources. I apologize. Let's check out this one, because there is actually another option that I preferably show to you, which is this article preview. So once the source has updated their web certificate to the latest security standards, what we can do is, once you click on this article preview button, is embed the news bit into our own design and show it to you again side by side. No thanks. Side by side with the information we extract. So this is literally just embedding the original website to give you quick access to the information about all of the projects that have been discovered. Another very important part that you can partake in once you have looked at this project and are sure that you would like to proceed, but maybe not you yourself, much rather a colleague of yours, you have the comments section to either leave notes to yourself or to involve colleagues that might take over from here. You do that by pressing the add button on your keyboard, adding the colleague who this lead should go to, and then typing your message. Clicking then on comment will send this message, and my colleague will now get a notification in her sidebar. This is what this little bell is for, to be notified that I just mentioned her on this particular lead, and read my message to check this out, investigate further, or get in touch. This is the one thing. What I mentioned earlier, though, is very important still, to move this project from the inbox into the folders on the left-hand side. To keep your inbox clean, so as to be able to spot newly published projects at first glance. And more importantly, to teach Building Radar how this is, or which ones are the relevant ones and which ones are not. This is what this action bar at the bottom here is for. Interesting just indicates, hey, this is a project that has sparked my interest. I would like to investigate further, see if this is something that I can get into. And discard is right the opposite. No, I definitely do not want to know more about this project. This is totally irrelevant for me because of I don't do these large area glass solutions, for example. Archiving is an option that becomes more interesting a little bit further down the line, but is available from the get-go anyways. Once you either have worked on a project and have deemed it as complete because you've gotten in touch with the architect, you've won the bid, and have concluded your acquisition process, then you might want to move it into the archive folder. Or you can also use it if something is already known to you and you do not want to confuse the algorithms behind it by marking it as irrelevant, so that you archive it instead and let the platform know, hey, this would generally be relevant for me. In this case, I know about it already, so leave me be. The snooze option is another one that's designed to keep you in touch with this project if you are still unsure about it. So either it might be too early for you to judge whether this is something that might actually be relevant for you, or that you would like to give the involved parties, like the Idea Architecture Bureau, which we had earlier, a little bit more time to get settled themselves and then get in touch maybe 3 or 6 months down the line. You could, of course, also pick a specific date if you want to be notified, or if your regular schedule of working with Building Radar is every Wednesday, for example, you could make sure that next Wednesday, the 25th, I'll be notified of it, and therefore then have another chance to take a look. Lastly, you have the export button, which by standard will come in 2 variations, which is the export as CSV file. This is something that generally will be opened by Microsoft Excel. However, can also be formatted in a way that it will be compatible to your CRM, or with your CRM system rather. So we can format this to have the column headers reflect the names of your fields or your input fields in your CRM system, so that you can export all of the data from Building Radar as a CSV and then re-upload it into your CRM system. Or you could alternatively download this just as is in a nice PDF format. This will basically print out the right-hand side of this page for you to give you a quick access and give you the opportunity to send this via mail to a colleague to take a look. There is one option that's missing in this showcase here, and that's the Add to CRM directly export. This is a special add-on feature that you can book with your Building Radar contract, and which makes sure that all of the data that you find here, from the general information down to the contact details of all the parties involved, will directly be forwarded to your CRM system, so that you don't have any manual hassle with transferring the data from A to B. I've talked a lot now about marking all of the projects. We haven't done anything of the sort so far, so let's continue with doing that. I'll just mark it as interesting. This one also super interesting. And London, not really my major area of activity. We'll just discard it for demonstration's sake. As you have just witnessed now, they will be removed from the inbox and can be found again in these correspondingly named folders on the left-hand side, which we took a look at in the beginning. So if we take a look at offices, we'll find again the one from Detroit here and the one from Orlando just below. After a while, you'll probably be asking yourself the question, okay, I've been working with Building Radar for a good time now. What exactly has been the outcome of my work so far? This is what this section Activity Reports is for. Going here, sorry, these ones are in German. Let me remove them very quickly. Going here, you'll find the section of activity reports to be designed to reflect your activity and to give you insights in what has transpired since you started using first. You kick this off by creating a report, and it will ask you, do you want this broken down by your individual search? So office and science and education, I think it was, that we had in the beginning, or do you want it aggregated about yourself and possibly all of the other users that we have in your organization? Let's take a look here, for example. You'll then be asked what time frame you would like to look at. Since this is just a demo account, let's take a look at the last 7 days. Users could also be used to specify which other ones you would like to see in here. And then you get this simple but expressive overview of what has been done with your account so far. So we've seen just now, we marked 2 results as interesting. We commented on one and mentioned our colleague. One we did not find interesting, and overall took a look at 11 projects that might have also been me before we started this demonstration. You can then either just leave it again, or if you would like to store this information or even forward it to somebody else, you again have an export functionality here to get this as image, PDF, or just the raw data. Or you could even save it so that for future reference, you just have 2 very quick clicks to make to get to this. So we'll call this the 7-day retro. To take a look. And now that I go back to the overview, I have this one saved here. So the next time I would like to check out what has been happening over the last 7 days, I'll just click on this and will be quickly forwarded again to the particular report. Since we're running out of time now, 2 very quick words. Generally, we are happy to hold these kinds of sessions, but if you need help outside of it, there is a help center linked in the left-hand navigation bar just under help. The notifications are there to be in touch with your colleagues. And lastly, the account settings designed to give you a little bit more control of how Building Radar notifies you of new leads or inactive leads while you're not actively working with the project, with the platform. This is what these 2 sections here are for. So I could get a daily email with everything that has been found since the last time, or since the last day, or just once a week, or not at all, for example, depending on your choice. An active email refers to leads that have been in your interesting folder for a while now. I think the exact time is 30 days and that you haven't touched. And of course, at the bottom, you can, of course, give your customer success manager access to maintain your Building Radar account just by keeping this box here checked. Since we're done now for the 15 minutes, if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. I'll give you 2 minutes to post anything if there is anything. Otherwise, I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon on the platform. So there is one question, if we can have data for private construction or data published by the owner or landlord. Yes, for both of them. So most of the information that Building Radar finds is directly fed from publicly available sources in general. So that might be news articles, press releases, public tenders, or the involved parties directly. So for example, if you have a architect or a general contractor or developer, we are also looking at the websites of those companies to extract relevant information and add it to the general treasure of information that we display. Is there anything else? Okay, then, once again, thank you very much for your attention. I'll be looking forward to welcoming you on Building Radar very soon. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.